Well, the claims are huge, the price is low, and the results are in, but you have to stick around to find out how it did. VEVOR 3K, let's roll it. I was recently given a heads up about a new amplifier I might want to check out, so I asked my Facebook audience, they agreed, so guess what? We got one in. Let's check it out and see what it's all about. Arriving in a plain cardboard box with just the label on it and some tape. You know, the first thing I noticed is it's heavy, so that's a good sign, to be honest with you, for a car audio amplifier. First, we can see here in the package we do have 4 mounting screws. That's great, want to mount your amp. Also have an owner's manual, which is all in English. Covers 3 different models and has pretty good information here for a generic owner's manual. Also, we have a remote bass knob. Although the bass knob is plastic, it does use a telephone style connector and does have a power and a clip LED on it, which is nice. And then the main feature here, of course, is the amplifier in the plastic bag. And of course, the silica gel. Do not eat! Throw it in your toolbox. Save your tools from the rust. So here's the amp, not a bad looking specimen overall with the black and red. Not too bad, and there's all the accessories that it comes with. So of course you're wondering, what about this company VEVOR? VEVOR focuses on delivering entry-level home improvement projects that are both affordable and reliable. They offer a diverse range of over 20,000 products serving 20 million customers across more than 30 countries. Hand tools, power tools, bird feeders, weather stations, aquarium stands, fried ice cream makers? No, my friends, we're looking at a car audio amplifier. That's right, a 3,000 watt amplifier they list for $129 and $20 off if you sign up for their site, or you can just go to Amazon and get it for $117 with a coupon. That's what I did because I didn't want to sign up for another website. So for the money, you're like, really? Is this thing 3,000 watts? And I was kind of, the same impression. I'm like, well, it's a company we've never really heard of in car audio. It feels legit. It could possibly be legit. And how do they rate it? Well, 4 ohms, 850 watts, 2 ohms, 1680, or 1 ohm, 3000 watts. Now let's take a closer look at the amplifier itself to see what we get. Here on this one side, first thing you'll notice is the Tiffany style RCA inputs and outputs. And yes, these do have the little covers on them to protect them during shipping. Then we have the high pass and low pass filter crossover. High pass is 15 hertz to 80 hertz. Low pass 80 hertz to 20 kilohertz. That's right, this is a full range capable full bridge amplifier. Then we have the gain control from minimum to maximum. Also the bass boost from 0 to 12 dB at 49 hertz. Then we have the bass remote RJ45 jack. As we move to the right, we'll see some more diagnostic LEDs here in multiple colors. We actually have protect, we have clipping, and we have power. 3 different colors. And we have outputs for the speakers. This is a monoblock amp, but it does give you the ability to hook up 2 separate speakers via 8-gauge connections. Very nice, especially for a super budget amplifier. Now if we flip it around to the other side, not a whole lot going on here, but we don't expect it to be. First, you'll notice the fan there on the left. This is an active cooling fan, which is temperature controlled on the amplifier, so it'll ramp up as needed. And beside that, we just have the remote power connection there. For about 8 gauge, you won't need a remote power that big. And we have 0 gauge or 1 aught. For the power and ground, it says it supports 9 to 16 volts DC. Of course, these power terminals are beefy. I would call them oversized 0 gauge, so plenty of room for your wire mounting inside. Also, the remote knob, there's the clip and power indicator. Again, it's a small potentiometer, it's plastic, but hey, it comes with a bass knob. Now what about the weight of this VEVOR 3K? Let's put it on the scales. I told you it felt kind of heavy. 6.9 pounds. I'm sorry, 6 pounds, 9 ounces. That's 2.98 kilograms, 6.58 pounds, 2,980 grams, if I can get that out. But here it is, and again, we're going to show my hand compared to the amplifier. As you can see, it pretty much hides by my hand. Well, what's the true size? Dimensions are 8.7 inches for the width, 8.9 inches for the length, and 2.6 inches for the height. They don't really say much about the architecture of the amplifier. They just say it's stable from 9 to 16 volts. It does have an RC input. It works with different vehicles. 3,000 watts RMS, efficient heat distribution. but it does show you hooking it up with one battery. Again, if this is a true 3000 watt amplifier, you will need an extra battery at a minimum for most vehicles. Now, I know curiosity killing a cat. You want to know what's inside? Well, you got to wait till later in the video because we're going to tease you, because first we got to fire up the SMD DeMoor Engineering Amplifier Dyno so we can test out the true power of this VEVOR 3K. If you haven't seen these tests before, on the left, the power output in watts. In the middle, the ohm load. On the right, the voltage of the dyno. Will also have the remote clamp so that we can estimate this amplifier's efficiency. Now, first up, we're going to try 4 ohms. This amp is rated 850 watts. 14.4 volts. Let's try it out. 40 hertz is our test tone. Up to 1% distortion. Can we get 850? Yes. We get 1144. Voltage is a little bit high, 14.51, but within reason there. Uncertified takes us up to the clipping point. We expect to get a little bit more than 1144, and we get a little bit more than 1144. 1158 at 14.38. Now, it was super cold in my testing area, so the voltage on the battery bank was not staying stable. You'll see it drop quite a bit during these tests, but I tried to keep it between 13.5, 14.5, something like that at the end. Dynamic send the pulse tone 1172 right at 14.4. Now, it did good at 4 ohms, but what about 2 ohms? It's rated 1680 watts. Again, certified test first, 1% distortion. Can we get the 1680? Yes! Almost 1900 watts, 1892, and the voltage is at 14. We still got 0.4 to go, so we can get even more power. Uncertified, again, takes us to the clipping point. Should be a little bit more power. And what's it going to be? Over 19? Yes! 1965 at 13.77. Color me impressed. Dynamic, sending a pulse tone, 40 hertz into the amplifier. We're busting 2000. That's right, 2045? Yes, 2045 at 14.2. 2046 right there at the very end. Now, 1 ohm, it says 3000 watts, 14.4. Again, this first test is going to drop the voltage pretty low. Let's see what we get here. Can we get to 3K? Close, we get 2720, but look at our voltage, 13.39. So we got to do better than that. So let's bump up the voltage, give this amp a fair run at the RMS power output, and check this out. 3152 at 14.4. Crazy. Then we thought, let's try it at 1 kilohertz just to compare the difference in output. So we tried it at 1 kilohertz. There you go, 3144 at 13.93. Yo! What about uncertified? Again, this one, the voltage is going to drop a little bit more than the previous test, so it won't be quite as high. But up to clipping, we got 2964 at 13.18. So just over 13 volts, you're pretty much getting the 3000 watts, which is insane for $120. Dynamic test, pulse tone, well over 3000, 3259 at 13.16. Now the results are here, results are in. The only thing to note is that 1 ohm clipping test, again, the voltage dropped in that one. That's why it's less than the 1% test. Efficiencies were good, between 76 and 91%. But I know what you guys are thinking. Let's see this thing under 1 ohm. Well, it's only rated down to 1 ohm. But I tell you what, if you watch all the way to the end of the video, we'll try to see if we can blow it up. What you say? But first, let's hook it up to the 6000 watt massive audio subwoofer and see how it flexes. So I ran on the sub for an easy hour or so, had no problems. It did not sound bad. It sounded fine to me, lots of bass. But let's take a closer look at the internals of this 3000 watt VEVOR amplifier. And if you guys know full bridge style amplifiers, and you've probably seen a design similar to this before, it definitely looks like one of the Brazilian clones. Here we have 2200 microfarad, 120 volt caps here for the rails, two of them, two big caps. We have 25 volt 2200 microfarad for the input filtering. You can see the two large transformers, you can see the two large coils, help keep the noise down. And then you'll notice that we have the transistors here, which seem to be T2047 in case, but I can't tell what they are because it looks like they'd marked off the the model numbers on them, so you can't really see. You just see a M with the circle around it. And then same thing for the outputs. These are T0220s, but I can't tell what they actually are because there is no markings on them. This is not abnormal for generic amplifiers. Now, are there similar models? Yeah, we looked on AliExpress. We saw the Soder, however you say it. Looks to be the exact same. The guts, everything. But interestingly enough, this one sells for $235 on AliExpress. You get it much cheaper through VEVOR. Now let's talk about the pros and cons, the stuff I like, the stuff I think could be better. First off, the good stuff is inexpensive, 130 bucks. Rated Power Plus, yes, amazingly. Small footprint, has 1.0 power and ground. 2 speaker outputs even though it's a monoblock amplifier. Bass remote is included. It does have a clip light on it as well. And if you watch all the way to the end of the video, we're going to test out the reliability, see if we can blow this amp up. So make sure you stay tuned. For the things that could be better, just has a single RCA input. Requires upgraded electrical. Definitely you're going to have an extra battery. It is a rebranded generic, so we're not sure about the long-term reliability of this. With it being so inexpensive, I wouldn't expect it. Also, the crossovers allowed bleeding through of some vocals, even with the lowest setting on the low pass, so just be aware of that. So there was my test of the VEVOR 3K. I don't like to come out and say like I'm, suggesting people go out and buy this. I'm literally just getting it, trying on the dyno, seeing the true output power. We're going to do some stress testing at the end to find out if we can blow it up. But yeah, overall, definitely for your money, this is pretty crazy. I mean, I was pretty insanely blown away that you're actually getting the rated power and more. And so that's good. That's what we like to see. The manufacturer's providing what they say. Again, we're not sure about reliability, but if you need a secondary amp or just need something to get you by, this might not be too bad. But now let's find out, can we blow it up? So just for you guys, I decided to do a little extra test. Let's find out if we can blow this amp up. What do you think? Let's do it. So this VEVOR 3K amp is not rated for anything less than 1 ohm. So what we're doing here is completely idiotic, but we want to try it, give it a stress test. So we want to try dynamic at 0.8 using the dynamic track on the dyno. Let's see if it'll survive. Here we go. Okay. It looks like, is it going off? Yeah, I think it's going into protect and then coming out of protect. So even at 0.8, it's going into protect. So that's kind of a good sign, to be honest, because I was afraid that it would not do that. Let's try it for 1% distortion at 0.8 and see what it does. All right, the crazy, dumb, stupid test here at 0.8 for the $100, what is the brand? VEVOR. I'm nervous here because I'm afraid it's going to go up in smoke. And it just might, but at least we'll have it recorded. So here we go. Let's try it. 0.8. Hold on to your hats. All right, it is in protect. Look, see the clip light? It just went out. So the amp actually went into protect, came out. Let's go back. You see that 3470. Let's go back to 1 ohm. Looks like the amp is still on. So it reset itself. So let's try the 1 ohm test again. Certified. 1% distortion. There you go. 3,200 watts, 14.38. Crazy. I'm blown away. Literally blown away. No blow up, sorry. All right, so I literally hear you guys talking to me even though you're not really talking to me, you're just talking to the screen. Okay, so you tried 0.8, certified, went into protect, Actually, yeah, at the very end of the test it did. If you tried dynamic at 0.8 and it went into protect, what about 0.67? Is it going to go into protect or is it going to blow up? That is the question. We have the camera going right here on the amp, so we're going to see it if it blows up. We have the camera here on the dyno, so we'll see what the power is. Let's go ahead. Here we go. What's it going to do? Okay, goes into protect, as you see, just like it's supposed to. Does not blow up, cuts out power once it realizes the ohm load and it realizes the current is being pulled. Goes into protect. It does not blow up. There you have it. I can't blow it up. The unblowable $100 3000 watt amp. The only thing that's blown here is my mind.